So a couple days ago, I made a video about Deadlock and why she's so bad, and to prove my point, I pointed out that Deadlock did not see a single pick by any pro team at Valorant Champions 2023. She was the only agent that didn't get picked at all. But today we're going to talk about who was in second last place, because that was Sage, who only had one pick across the entire tournament, and I'm sure that many of you aren't surprised the fact that Deadlock didn't get picked once, but this might surprise some of you a bit more that Sage is down here at 1%. That was only one pick on Bind by Na'Vi versus DRX, a game that they did lose, but it was in overtime. The thing is, it wasn't always like this. For instance, here's the stats from Lock-In at the start of the VCT 2023 year, and Sage is at 18% as well. Now, a large portion of that is being carried by Icebox, but I can guarantee to you that if Icebox came back in right now and pros had to play on that map, that this Sage pick rate would be nowhere near this high, and Sage would still definitely be sub 10% overall, and honestly, I still think would probably be down there, you know, maybe even sub 5%. So why is Sage so bad? Well, the first reason is she doesn't have any refreshable utility. You might be saying, no, she does have refreshable utility. She'll get a heal back after 45 seconds. Watch, if you take full damage TMV and, you know, heal back up, watch, she can get it back in 45 seconds down there. Look at that. The thing is, when are you going to use it at the start of the round unless someone does take full damage or something like that, right? Like, the chances of someone taking a fight, living in that fight in the first couple seconds, and then you being in range of being able to heal them, you know, and then, you know, that happen again later on in the round where you need to heal again, either yourself or someone else, it's just very unlikely, right? That that's actually going to play out like I just said. And so that brings up the point that she basically doesn't have any refreshable utility. The second thing is that pro teams are much more patient than maybe your average ranked player is. Because, for instance, if we put down, you know, a common Sage wall like this one here in mid, if a pro team saw this wall, they would do one of two things. They would either just leave it for 40 seconds and just, you know, go off and take B main or take towards A instead and just leave mid and just happily, you know, give up that space, or they would just come and shoot it as a team and, you know, wouldn't really mind and wouldn't really feel the problems of, you know, this Sage wall, other than it's wasted a bit of their ammo, right? Which is like, who cares, right? So they would just shoot it and they wouldn't really care about that, and they're willing to play slow enough to where this wall isn't that big of a threat, particularly if it's going on at the start of a round. And then once this wall does get destroyed, you know, often what you'll see then is a Sage will start throwing slow orbs down, right? And throw these slow orbs. And again, a pro team, though, will happily just wait and sit here. The wall is 40 seconds. This thing lasts, you know, what is it, like 6-7 seconds or something? You know, you can just wait that out, and you've still got more than enough time to play with if you're the attacking team, and now your Sage has no utility left. And so, in counter to this, if someone does pick Sage in a pro game, what you'll often see is instead these kind of early walls towards, like, you know, a very visible place that can be shot very easily and seen very early, what they'll tend to do is maybe you have your Sage just jiggle peeking this angle just here, and off contact they then come back and wall something like this instead, right? The idea behind this wall is it's a bit more committed for the attackers if they actually want to come up and destroy this wall, right? It's going to be a bit harder for them. It's not like right where they spawn. They have to actually, you know, come up pretty deep to come and destroy this wall. Also, this wall is probably going to come up a bit later in the round as well. So that means that if they do just let this wall, you know, go down and be destroyed, then that time pressure might be a bit, you know, more so if they come here and I've put this wall up with, let's say, a minute left. By the time it goes down, there's only 20 seconds left, right? And that would become a bit of an issue. But whilst these kind of walls that might come up later in the round, you know, and be harder to destroy, and that's all really great, and they cause more time pressure, there is problems with it as well, though, because one, yes, you are stopping me from getting towards the B site here from heaven. But you're also stopping yourself from taking the space back as well. And you might think, well, actually no, TMV, because you see, if you put the wall in the right place, you can jump on this box and then jump on the wall and then you can come down. But ask yourself this, are you really going to do that? Maybe you'll do it once as a surprise, but is that going to become a key component of your strategy? Probably not. And then therein lies a problem again, where you've got this wall up, but now, essentially, this space, you know, in towards mail and whatever, is now kind of the attacker's space, and they can walk up into heaven, often for free, and go and, again, just explore other parts of the map whilst that wall is up, and go and take space elsewhere. The other thing is that if you do put this wall up at a minute left and it goes down at 20 seconds, yeah, there's some time pressure, but by the time that this wall goes down, with 20 seconds left in the round, are you telling me that from this point, I can't get to the site and plant the spike in 20 seconds? I'm right by the site. Like, how would I not get there, right? And this is common across a bunch of different maps as well, where those kind of later walls that you put up are often going to be on somewhat the doorstep of a site. And 20 seconds or not, I should be able to get there with 20 seconds left. And you often will find that the attacking team will, and still be able to plant the spike. And so then again, you didn't really get much out of your wall. And pro teams have gotten a lot better at playing around opponents' ults as well, identifying what ults are online. And for something like a Sage res, that is something that you can counter pretty hard a lot of the time, because it's going to be often pretty obvious, like, that's a resable body, they're gonna go for a res, right, where it's in somewhat of a safe spot. And so you as the opposing team are going to guard that body a bit more, or come up with a way of punishing, you know, that team for going for that res. And so you'll often find that in pro games as well, you know, a Sage res won't get that much value. And combining all of that together, essentially you've got all parts of Sage's utility kit just not finding maybe as much value as they used to. But the thing is, in ranked, Sage is still doing very well, right? If we take a look here, she's still apparently the 4th most picked agent overall, and her win percentage is also 4th, right? So way up there as an agent, one of the most picked and highest win rate agents in ranked. And so we kind of have a similar problem to a video I made a long time ago now, the Reina problem, where we have an agent who's good in ranked, but not so good at the pro level. But I do think there is a bit of a difference between Reina and Sage when it comes to this kind of state in the metas of ranked and pro play. See, for Reina, unless you're something, her whole kit is kind of the opposite of what pro play wants to do though, because often in pro play what you want to do is use your utility to help you get a kill, and then, you know, use your team play and fundamentals and another utility to then help you convert that 5v4. But for Reina, you need to just win an aim duel a lot of the time, and then be able to use the rest of your utility. So it's almost backwards in terms of what you would normally want in a pro setting. But for Sage, that is not the case. And I think with just a bit of rejigging, Sage could actually still be perfectly fine in ranked, but actually be a bit better and a stronger choice in pro play as well. And you don't even need to change any of her abilities at all, you just need to rejig them. Because I think if Sage's slow orb was her signature ability, she would see a lot more play in the pros, because you can use this at the start of the round and then get one back in 45 seconds. You know, consistently, you could throw one of these at the start of the round to deny your opponent from taking space, or to help you come and take some space as well if you wanted to, or be some, you know, a part of some set piece like with a raise nade or whatever, right? That could be something that you do, and you'll know that you'll get one back in 45 seconds. Now, here's the thing. You might be saying TMV, that would be too strong. And I kind of agree that that would be pretty strong. So you can do a couple of things. You could nerf the slow orb if you needed to, right? You could just make it last less time if you wanted to. You could also make it cost more. That would make a lot of sense as well. If you only need to buy one, you know, make it 300, right? Go for it, don't care. The heal could cost, you know, 150 or whatever to be the same as Sky's. Like, that would be absolutely fine, wouldn't have a problem with that. But I think that this kind of change, even if you did want to nerf the slow orbs or whatever, would definitely help Sage in terms of her pro pick rate. And I don't really think it would have that big of an impact in ranked, particularly some of those lower ranks, because, you know, a lot of the rounds won't last the 45 seconds needed to even get one back, even if you did use one at the very start of the round. So those were just some of my thoughts on Sage. I'd be interested in hearing what you guys think. I know that a lot of you will probably be like, yeah, don't care. Again, if an agent is bad in pro play, good in ranked, don't care. But I do think that this kind of thing, even if it did require tweaking the Sage though to be a bit worse overall, that kind of thing would be helpful for Sage as a whole, and would, you know, help us see some play in both the top levels of the game and still be a perfectly viable option in ranked as well.